Hey guys, I'm going to try to solve an activity-based costing question from chapter 19. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and so I figured I would make a video, and I think it will help us on the test. So let's get to it. The question I'm going to try to solve is the try it question from chapter 19. It's the second try it, number 5, 6, and 7. The question reads, Newton Company has analyzed its production process and identified two primary activities. These activities, their allocation bases, and their estimated costs are listed below. And here's all the information. The important things to notice are there are two primary activities. That means they've split the overhead into two. So we know we're going to make two calculations there. And also remember from chapter 17, in order to get the rates, we're going to have to divide this total estimated overhead divide by the total base. And so that's how we get our rate. So let's go ahead and answer the questions. Number 5, it wants us to compute the predetermined overhead allocation rates using activity-based costing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the rates. I'll write the formula just to make everything clear. The overhead allocation equals total estimated cost divided by allocation base. Okay, so first we're going to do that for the purchasing. And that equals the total estimated here is 10,000, so I'll put 10,000 divide by the base is 200, and then let's get that calculation. 10,000 divide by 200, and that's $50, and I'm just going to put a label on there to make everything clear. It's $50 per purchase order because that's our base. So I'll just put purchase. Okay. And now let's get the allocation for the materials. Materials equals the total estimated costs here are 7,500, so let's put 7,500 divided by our base, which is 15,000 parts. Okay, and now let's divide those. Equals 7,500 divided by 15,000. Okay, and that gives us 0.5, which is actually 50 cents per part, because that's our base right there, per part. And putting those labels on there will make it clear later, just in case you have to go back and refer to number 5 to solve other parts of the problem. So we've got our overhead allocation rates. Now let's do number 6. It says determine the amount of overhead allocated to regular products in March. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to look at the regular and see how much activity they've used, and that's why it's called activity-based costing. So how many purchases did they do, and how many parts did they do, and then we charge the rate times the activity and then add those together. So let's go ahead and do that. So for regular, the first thing they did was purchases. The overhead allocated is equal to the rate times the activity, and we're going to have two of those, so let me insert a line here to make it clear. So this is going to be for the purchase orders. Okay. That might need to be switched, but I think it's clear enough. So they did 5 purchase orders times, oh wait, let me put the okay, 5 purchase orders times the rate, $50 per purchase. Okay, and I'll put it in an Excel format, equals 5 times 50, that's $250. Okay, now let's compute the same thing for the number of parts, and I'll just copy paste this down here, change the titles for the parts. Overhead allocated is equal to the rate times the activity. So let's see, overhead allocated is equal to how many parts did they use? 600. And what was the rate at 50 cents right here per part? 0.5. And I'll go ahead and put that in Excel format. Equals 600 times 0.5, and that's $300. Let's put a value on that. And then, of course, we have to add both of these activities together because they both incur a cost. So we want to know the total allocated to that. So let's add those together. And that's auto sum here. And so for the regular, they incurred $550 of overhead allocated. So that's number 6. And then I'll compute we'll do number 7. And it wants us to determine the amount of overhead allocated to the super products in March. I'm just going to do number 7 over here, so that way we won't have to keep scrolling. So number 7, it's the same calculations as these, so I'm just going to copy paste it and change the numbers. Okay, change the titles. This is for super, and the rate for this, for the overhead the rate doesn't change. So how many purchase orders did super do? They did, instead of doing 5, they did 7. So let's change that. Okay, and I'll put the Excel format over here. That equals 7 purchase orders times $50 each, and that's $350. go ahead and put that just to be clear. And then how many parts did they use? Instead of using 600 parts, they used 750. Okay. So I'll just do the calculation over here. Equals 750 parts times 50 cents a part, and that's $375. Let's put the dollar format on there and get an auto sum. Okay, that's $750 for the super. So the super incurred $750 of overhead. And that's all they ask. If they would have asked what's the total amount of allocated overhead incurred, then you could add those two numbers together and get the total. But in this case, they just asked to determine the regular and the super. So just to make sure I got this correct, let's check the answers. Okay, I'm going to put this down here and paste that there. I happen to do this problem already, and the answers are hidden in these cells, so I'm just going to unhide those. Unhide. And these are the problems that we just did, and I'll place them next to the ones I did previously just to make sure that everything matches. Okay, so for number 5 we did total rate for purchasing $50 per purchase. We got $50 per purchase. Overhead rate is for the materials were 50 cents per part. We got 50 cents per part. For number 6, for the regular, we got $250 for the purchases and $300 for the parts. $250 here, $300 for the parts there, and that equals $550. So we got that right. And then for the super, we did $350 for the purchases, and we got $350 for purchases there, and then $375 for the parts, and $375 for the parts. So we got it right. It's not that difficult of a problem, but it's been a while since we've done one like that, so I wanted to upload this video and hopefully help you guys out on the test. Good luck.